what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com, back again with another cryptocurrency video. Today we're going to be doing a Bitcoin halving 2020 price prediction and analysis. I'm going to be covering everything you need to know about the halving event, and please make sure to leave this video a like. I've done a lot of research in this video. We're going to be covering a lot of in-depth charts to really explain what's happening, so you can look forward to that in just a few seconds. And we're also going to be doing a shorter term technical analysis on the Bitcoin chart to talk about what's probably going to happen in the shorter term as well. So we're going to be covering the fundamentals of the halving event, also the historical aspects, what it's done in the past, and what we can expect from this halving event in terms of price increase and the effect that it's going to have on Bitcoin and its network. The halving event is going to happen in 11 days, as you can see here, coming in very soon. And this is going to be Bitcoin's third halving event, also known as the halvening. So keep in mind, right, Bitcoin was designed as a deflationary currency. I just wanted to go over some of the fundamentals here. So it is very much like gold in the sense that it becomes harder to mine Bitcoins over time, right? And it becomes more and more rare to be able to create and also own a single Bitcoin, right? Now, what you have to keep in mind is the inflation rate and how that moves forward in time. So due to its deflationary monetary policy, it decreases over time, right? So actually, a pretty interesting stat is that the inflation rate for Bitcoin is going to be less than the US dollar and the inflation rate of gold. So that is a pretty amazing stat, in my opinion, that after this third halving event, Bitcoin's inflation rate will be under 2%, which is less than the Fed's current rate, and also the inflation rate of gold, which is amazing, right? That literally makes it harder to get Bitcoin than gold or US dollar in terms of, how often it's created. That is going to be a pretty big deal, in my opinion. Now, just to go over some of the basics on the monetary system behind Bitcoin, there will only be 21 million Bitcoins ever mined. And we've already mined a significant amount of those. In fact, 87.40% of all Bitcoins have already been mined. So we already have most Bitcoins that have already been mined, and there will only ever be 2.6 million Bitcoins that are left to mine, right? And that's going to decrease over time, which is really nothing. The fact that there's only 2.6 million Bitcoins left to mine is really nothing, right? It's pretty crazy when you think about it. So that's all I wanted to talk about as far as the basics are concerned. We're going to quickly hop over to something that I posted on my Twitter before I hop over to those more detailed charts, and that is the fact that cryptocurrencies are gaining momentum and presumably hype as we're heading into this halving event. In fact, last night, cryptos jumped over 10% in a matter of hours. As you can see here, it was a very strong spike. That reflects the hype, right? That's something that I'm going to talk about as we're going to see the more detailed shorter term chart of Bitcoin, is the fact that we are very clearly seeing, as you can see here by the more recent move, a clear gain in momentum and hype, really, as we're heading into the event, which is not a bad thing necessarily. Now, is that going to last is the question, and that's something that I'm going to talk about, but it looks like we are clearly getting that momentum and hype. That can also be seen by the very, very strong and consistent bullish volume here that you can see on the chart as well. Also, please make sure to leave a like on this video. I put a lot of research into it, so I would be really appreciative of that. Also, make sure to subscribe to stay updated with my videos. Now, let's go ahead and head into some of those charts that I was talking to you about and sort of what to expect from that, right? So first off, we're going to look at this historical chart over here, and this is the hash rate for Bitcoin. This is something that people have concerns about, that a lot of miners will stop mining after the halving event. Previously, that's not been true. It's been very steady throughout the halving event and beyond, so I would not be concerned about that. Now, as far as the price is increased, you're going to see a few things. Over here on this very long-term candlestick view of things, you're going to see that historically we had a bit of a consolidation before the halving event, followed by a significant move higher right afterwards, and that pattern replicated both times in both events, right? So if we go over here, this is a very detailed chart, but the basic idea is that before the halving events, we usually had a little bit of accumulation, right? So a consolidation followed by a very big increase about a year after the actual halving event. We usually saw over 1,000% price increases every time, right? Then we had a bit of a pullback, but compared to the actual price increase that we had during the year after the halving, it was nothing, right? I mean, we're talking about on the first halving event a 9,000+% increase. On the third one, about a 3,000% plus increase. And what is somewhat predicted for the next one, right, seeing that we're getting about a division of 3 here on every halving event, would be a 1,000% price increase after the third halving event. And the time frame for that would be around a year, right? About 360 to 500 days after that third halving event, which is in 11 days, where we should see a 1,000% increase. And that's based on the historical performances, but in averages. I think that anywhere from a 100 to a 100, anywhere from a 100 to a 1,000% price increase is what we can expect here. Now, same thing, right? Very clear view of how we had a expansion followed by a smaller recession after every halving event. And once again, this is a very nice, more simple and basic chart that shows you that overall, right, the trend has been intact. We've been moving higher throughout these halving events and significantly higher after every one of these halving events as well. That's a pattern that should be reproduced. Once again, here you can see that 9,000% price increase on that first halving event, then a 3,000, and then a estimated 1,000 on this third one. Like I said, I think that we can see anywhere from a 100 to a 1,000% price increase after this third halving event, right? About a year after the third halving event. So let's also head over to the more detailed chart here. So taking a look at the more advanced detailed chart of Bitcoin, we're going to see several bullish signs. One of them being the fact that we are just about to turn bullish on the MACD after a relatively long downtrend. And that is a very, very bullish sign, right? We're about to go green on the histogram, and we're about to move above that orange line after a relatively long-standing downtrend on the MACD. So we can really expect a nice move higher here as far as the MACD is concerned, and that is very bullish in my opinion. Obviously, we're moving higher on the RSI, and we are still in this symmetrical triangle pattern, which could create some consolidation. That's something that I wanted to talk about because these halving events can be somewhat unpredictable in the sense that, who knows, we could see a very bullish reaction to it and actually break out of this symmetrical triangle. It is possible. And for that to happen, right, it would be pretty straightforward. We need a very clean move above $10,000, right? If we get a clean move above and out of this downtrend, above $10,000, we would be set free from the symmetrical triangle pattern. It isn't impossible. However, the odds are that that is somewhat unlikely nonetheless. Now, like I said, we are fully uptrending heading into this halving event, and that's something that shouldn't be overlooked, right? Now, I think that pretty straightforwardly, the hype is clear, the momentum is clear, it is bullish heading into this event. I think that we are going to actually test $10,000 here very shortly in the weeks, maybe next 1 to 3 months after the halving event. At the most, we're going to test $10,000. It could even happen within a few days to weeks of the halving event, right? So very shortly after the event, I think that we're going to test $10,000. However, I think that it is somewhat unlikely that we break above that. What's more likely is that we end up pulling back and consolidating into this symmetrical triangle, which I had talked about in the past. And, the end of this triangle is in May or April 2021. So at that point, we can expect a breakout higher or lower. And that makes perfect sense with that timing that I said, where it can take, about a year or more to fully see the, effects of the halving. So the two options is very clear. We're either going to break above $10,000 and begin a very strong bullish move sort of immediately after the halving event in a way, right? And when I say immediately, it could be a few weeks to a month or two, but basically begin that bull move higher. Or we're going to see an initial spike to $10,000 and then pull back and wait a bit longer towards the end of the symmetrical triangle before breaking out and beginning that bull move. But either way, right, I think that in about 300 to 500 days after this halving event, I think that we will be at least 100% higher. That is my own personal prediction. You saw that potential move for 1,000% increase. I think at least 100% increase is almost guaranteed at this point. About a year after the halving event. So, we are talking about in the coming years, multiple hundred to even a few 1,000% price increases for Bitcoin here, based on the historical data of the halvings, right? And I also wanted to take a look at the, more long-term historical, also overall cryptocurrency market cap. First off, I wanted to mention that Bitcoin and other cryptos have been increasing in the week heading into this event. Obviously, you see Bitcoin leading the market, right? Actually, one of the bigger price increases. And that is something to pay attention to, right? The fact that some of the altcoins did good, right? Even very good, but they did not match Bitcoin's 7-day performance. So clearly, there is the interest there for Bitcoin. And I think other cryptos will not necessarily be negatively affected by the whole thing. I think that they will actually benefit from it and follow Bitcoin's lead, but that Bitcoin should continue leading for the most part compared to most altcoins, right? With a few exceptions here and there. And also wanted to talk about the, kind of long-standing downtrend of the total market capitalization for the crypto markets. And what we're going to see is that we are looking like a potential move higher here as we are about to break above several peaks, right? So we have these two peaks here that form the downtrend, and we're probably going to break above that very soon here in the coming months. Also, you can see the fact that Bitcoin's dominance is slowly coming back up here. So once again, expect a bit of a spike in that, as it could very much return closer to 80% market dominance here after the halving event is kind of what I'm expecting, somewhere between 75 and 80%. So I really think we're going to see a lot more dominance for Bitcoin, but I don't think that altcoins are going to do bad. In fact, I think they're probably going to benefit from the whole thing and the halving, in terms that it's going to bring a lot of bullishness into the market. But I think that Bitcoin is going to lead the way and pave that path for that. With that being said, this is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out my technical analysis master course if you want to support the channel. It's less than $20, comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it's the ultimate guide to technical analysis. We've gotten great reviews, over 63 students enrolled. Thank you so much to everyone who purchased, and make sure to take a look if you're interested. Link in the description. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter. You can also find a link to that in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.